Time cutting deep like a blade, it's habitual. Blow 100 bands, it's looking like a ritual. Sand running out, so I move like a criminal. Eyes bloodshot, vision locked, I'm pivotal. Sail on my wave like a pirate, I'm cursed. Smoking my sins, blow the ghost in a hearse. Lightning my wrist, it be shocking the earth. If time is money, then my watch gotta hurt. Damn. Shawty dance on a pole like a preacher. Heart cold, turn love to a creature. Devil whispering the cost of my leisure. Life's a bomb, every step it get meaner. Time ticking, gotta run it up for a flat line. Big bag, count it up, blow it like a landmine, yeah. Live fast, die young, demons in the moonlight. No rewind, ain't no second chance at this life. I've been fighting the clock, I've been ducking the reaper. Wrote my name in the book, made a deal with a demon. Looking deep in the smoke, I see all of my secrets. Ain't no mask for the pain, so I sip on the ether. More money, more envy, that's how it go. She called me Da Vinci, I paint on her throat. Time running out, so I go for the smoke. Tidal wave flex, I'm too big for the boat. Diamonds dancing, got them freezing in place. Speed racer, never see me hit brakes. Time never waits, so I never delay. Bury my ops, got them sleeping away. Time ticking, gotta run it up for a flat line. Big bag, count it up, blow it like a landmine, yeah. Live fast, die young, demons in the moonlight. No rewind, ain't no second chance at this life. Like boy, time ticking, gotta run it up for a flat line. Big bag, count it up, blow it like a landmine, yeah. Live fast, die young, demons in the moonlight. No rewind, ain't no second chance at this life. Nah.
Welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where I'm Matt, your Kohrs, and together we are the show, and it is a beautiful Tuesday, March the 18th, and we're going to see how fast we can speak today, because I may or may not have already had 6 shots of espresso, but that's how we do it when we get up at the crack of dawn to see what's going on in the world's largest casino. In real time, we're seeing vol spike. We're seeing the market come down a little bit after 2 back-to-back green days, and it's all because of the Fitch, F-I-T-C-H ratings that just came out, basically saying, hey, we think this global trade war is not going to be so good, and we're cutting down our growth estimates. And now the market's coming down a little bit, vol spiking a little bit, but obviously we still have about 30 minutes to go until the market opens, so let's not freak out quite yet. Let's save our freakouts for when our accounts are actually blowing up. I hope you guys are having a great day. I really do. I really, really do. I hope you guys had a good Monday. I hope you crushed it. I didn't do so well in futures. I didn't do so well with Apex, but I did do well with options. So it kind of balanced itself out. It is what it is. And today, we have a very extensive breakdown of what I believe is going to be happening in the market, the most likely pathways for both the bull case and for the bear case, but what you need to know going into today. The current option structure is suggesting we don't know what the hell is going on. It has been many, many weeks, potentially even many, many months, like from the last time we've seen so much neutrality. Generally starting off the day, we're call dominated, we're put dominated. The gamma's clearly positive, it's clearly negative, something like that. Right now, no. Actually, because of this news, we're slightly put dominated. We have slightly negative gamma right here, but it's as neutral as it could possibly get, which kind of makes sense, being we're heading into that very important, very impactful, very, very crazy, announcement, update from the FOMC meeting tomorrow. So if we think about it logically, take a step back. it does make sense that the market is really just on its heels, not really that confident of which way we will or will not be breaking. So I'm going to be going over all those metrics. Of course, I'll be breaking down my bull case, my bear case, the key levels. We have some news to get into that might be positive, might be negative on the day. Basically, we have these high octane binary events that I think everyone should know about. I'm seeing a lot of people already talk about Tesla. It looks like a lot of people in chat are in Tesla puts this morning. Is that true? Raise your hand, because if so, we can definitely spend some extra time going over it. I currently don't have an option position on Tesla. Of course, I have the stock in my retirement account. But if there is a large interest in, I guess, like Tesla right now, I am more than happy to do kind of putting that into the morning breakdown. Or really, folks, it's super helpful on my side. If you guys let me know what stocks you guys are all like really paying attention to. And if I see a commonality, I am more than happy to leave it on the screen to do an extra breakdown, to show you what's going on in the option chain. I am here to serve you guys. So if there is a major interest or sentiment in a particular indice, ETF, stock, crypto, futures, just let me know, because if I see more and more people talking about it, I am more than happy to like spend some extra time just so maybe we could all, I don't know, get through this crazy marathon of degenerately trading a little bit less scathed, if you will. So we'll be coming back to that, but it does look like I'm seeing Nvidia, I'm seeing Palantir, I'm seeing SoFi, Mara, Tesla again, well, you guys are just repeating, that's the same person. Okay, but yeah, I'll save a little bit of time at the end to do a bit more of a breakdown, just so you guys can be a little bit more prepared from an actual like quantitative standpoint of what today might or might not be. But with that being said, here's how we're looking. Stock futures edged down after major averages booked 2 straight winning days. They probably updated this because we are selling off a bit more. No, they didn't update it, but just recently we're taking a bit of a larger hit right here. You can see in the past about 45 minutes, a bit more, like we were slightly red, obviously, but right here you can see in the past 15 minutes, vol starting to spike. And the news of what this is right here. Fitch Ratings, which is one of the major rating agencies, world growth forecast cut sharply as U.S. starts global trade war. Fitch Ratings, we have cut the U.S. 2025 growth target from 1.75% from 2.1, so dropping it by 0.4% for global growth. U.S. administration started global trade war that will reduce U.S. and world growth, push up U.S. inflation, and delay Federal Reserve rate cuts. So as you can see, 10 minutes ago, 9 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago, as this came out, that's exactly what caused the market to take a bit of a hit, but more so we're seeing a spike in volatility. So that's just like literally news hot off the press. But the other aspect of today's backdrop that's going to be important is what's going on with the ceasefire. We are anticipating Putin and Trump to be speaking today, obviously related to Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine ceasefire hinges on Trump call with Putin. Kyiv accuses Moscow of prolonging the war through talks. This is supposed to be happening today. Obviously, it goes well and we get some updates. Don't be surprised if the market rips. On the flip side, if it turns into some middle school girl screaming match, don't be surprised if the market crashes to the downside. So high octane binary event. A lot of the discussion is, and we've heard this from not only Trump, but also Putin, there's certain regions that are kind of in contention of who has it, who doesn't have it. And Putin's brought up, okay, who's going to be the arbiter in this particular circumstance of who gets it? Who's going to be the quote unquote neutral cop between the two? Even here, Trump, this is on Sunday, him talking about it.
We'll be talking about land. We'll be talking about power plants.
Land, power plants.
That's up, that's a big question. But I think we have a lot of it already discussed very much by both sides. We're already talking about that, dividing up certain assets.
The dividing up of certain assets. So he's talking about it. Putin's talking about it. That will most likely be a very, very important aspect of what their call is going to be around today. Putin wants all arms to Ukraine halted for Trump truce. This is kind of interesting because Trump said, no, we're not giving any more funding or weapons to Ukraine. They signed the mineral deal and they're like, okay, cool. Now that you're going into the ceasefire, we will be giving you weapons again. And then Putin's kind of saying, wait, what? We don't want that to happen. So tensions are obviously in a magnitude still high, but they are calming down. So this, I don't know how it's going to go. This might surprise you, but I was not invited to these calls today. I know you guys come to this channel and you're like, Matt, you really seem like a guy who's directly connected in the global political situation. I bet they're calling you all the time, FaceTiming you all the time to get your input of how this should be played out. And I know I get that a lot, dude. If I had $1 for every time someone came up to me and said, hey, what's going on in some global superpower issue, I would be a rich man. But to be completely honest and transparent with you, they don't ask me my opinion. So I don't know how it's going to go, but I am here to say most likely at a random point today, we're going to see a big spike or drop in the market, and it's just going to relate to the potentially positive, i.e. bullish news, or negative, i.e. bearish news of how this discussion does or doesn't go. And it'll probably be something along the lines of, we had a good call today. It'll be something seemingly benign, but then you're going to see the bots in the market go crazy and try to play it one way or the other. Or it could be like, hey, it doesn't sound like they're ready for an actual agreement, which is what we somewhat recently saw with Trump and Zelensky. So I don't know which way it's going to go, but I just want to put this on your radar because there's a very good chance that it has an impact on today's trading session. Also, speaking of tensions, they're boiling up again in the Middle East. Israel ends the Gaza truce with strikes, blaming Hamas for a breakdown. And when they end it in style. Israeli strikes kill hundreds, tipping Gaza back toward war. The attacks are the most extensive in months and come after talks of the release of the remaining hostages broke down. So we were slowly but surely, painfully trending in the right direction in this particular global conflict. And now we're taking massive steps back. We were taking baby steps forward, and now we're skipping backwards as fast as we possibly can. So that's obviously some unfortunate news. Is I think just being a human, we would all much prefer that things are calming down and maybe we aren't just murdering each other all the time. So unfortunately, that taking a step clearly in the wrong direction. Now, before we get exactly into the nitty gritty of what to look for in the market today, very quickly, shout out to today's stream partner. I'm talking about Rumble, and more specifically, Rumble Premium. So folks, shout out to my Rumble audience. You guys are showing up day in and day out. You were the people who took the chance on me when I said, okay, maybe I shouldn't be exclusively on YouTube because I got terminated so many times. So shout out to Rumble Premium. When you check it out, obviously, rumble.com/premium/Kohrs10, KOHRS10 will get you $10 off the annual plan. What you get with that is you no longer have to deal with those pesky ads. You're going to get access to premium content and other cool things when you're in chat, such like a verified badge and other just interesting tools that as a viewer is going to make the experience that much better. The reason I'm talking about them right now is if you look at what's going on from any of the main, vocal points of Rumble, they are rolling out a whole new live streaming full day, kind of like their own independent creators being put together to make a really cool concept on just news and independent voices. But the way it's working, and they're kind of continually rating each other, I highly recommend not only that you guys all check it out on rumble.com, but check out what the CEO Chris Pavlovsky is saying, because you could get the fastest updates from him. But it's really, really cool. Obviously, I love Rumble. I've been with them for years. It was just a safe thing. I just morally very, very much agree with free speech. And in my personal opinion, Rumble's been the major company that we all talk about that's been defending our right to free speech. So when you check out Rumble Premium, like I said, that code Kohrs10 will get you $10 off. Your viewing experience will be better. But more important than that, from a moral perspective, you're supporting a company who's always been supporting you and your right to say what you want to say. And beyond that, if you happen to be a trader and or investor of Rumble, this is a direct way to support it. So check that out. Shout out to Rumble Premium. Shout out to Rumble for having Rumble Premium. Go to rumble.com/premium Kohrs10, KOHRS. Once again, that will save you a bit here on the annual plan. So shout out to Rumble Premium. And with that being said, you can see that there's actually nothing really scheduled today from a macroeconomic point. Tuesday, March 18th, the big days tomorrow, FOMC meeting. We get the result at 2 p.m. Jerome Powell will be speaking at 2:30. But today, there's nothing scheduled. Obviously, I did allude to we should be getting an update at one point or another related to Trump and Putin. So I would say that's the major thing I'm going to be waiting for. But everyone's kind of just awkwardly waiting until 2 p.m. tomorrow, where we're going to find out that nothing's changing. The current Fed fund rate is 4.25%. There's currently a 99% 50% chance that we stay at 4.25%. I've been over this a little bit, but just to show you the change in numbers, we're not even expecting a rate cut in May, the May 7th meeting. There's an 80% chance we stay at the current rate. And the first time we have legitimate odds, more than a 50% chance of getting a rate cut, is in the mid-June meeting, where there's only a 33% chance of us staying at the current rate. So we're not getting a cut tomorrow. We're not getting a cut in May, and maybe, just maybe, we get a cut in June. So I just wanted to share that of the Fed. And what's going on is, I would say the best way, and I'll get into more detail for this tomorrow, but I would say the best way to actually think about this is tomorrow is going to be 3 different sessions, from market open till 2 p.m., 2 p.m. till 2:30, and then 2:30 to market close. I mean, if you look at volatility, it's going to hold constant. If you're a person selling premium, it's not even going to do anything until 2 p.m. You're just going to sit there and be frustrated and be like, hey, I thought this was supposed to decay, and it's not going to, because vol is just going to, the IV is just going to be holding so high. So I myself have gotten caught in the trap of trading on FOMC days many times before. So please be careful tomorrow. Of course, in tomorrow's show, not only will we have the normal morning show, but we're also going to be having the specialty FOMC stream. Just so you guys know, we will be all doing it together. But just be prepared, especially if you decide to create a position today that you're swinging to tomorrow. It's obviously appropriate for me to call out to all of you that tomorrow is going to be an absolutely wild day. Powell contends with double threat of economic chaos and political hostility. Federal Reserve is navigating the fog of a trade war from an administration ready to blame officials for any economic slowdown. And then they got a really blurry photo of him, which I think is artistic on the Wall Street Journal's, point. So I guess kudos to them. But anyway, what's really going to be moving the market tomorrow is not the announcement at 2 p.m. Of course, the market's going to have a large reaction to it, of course, but we already know what it's going to be. We know that we're not getting a Fed rate cut. Like, it's not going up, it's not going down. We already know with 99% certainty that we are staying exactly where we're at. What's going to cause the market to rippity-skippity doo-dah to the upside or absolutely plummet is Jerome Powell's speech at 2:30. Is he coming off as dovish? Is he coming off as hawkish? Is he having good conversations with Trump? Is he going to say positive or negative things about the trade war? Is he going to promote a confident vibe that, hey, we got this under control? Or is he saying, no, there's a lot more uncertainty and we're not sure how it's going to be going down? So those are all the things to pay attention to. Once again, this is going to be for tomorrow, and I'm just calling it out now because if you are creating a position that you're like, oh, I'm going to swing, obviously you should be like well attuned to the fact that craziness is coming down. We're not really in earnings season anymore, but I just wanted to share this with all of you. I know some of you are trading Micron, Nike, FedEx. So that's all Thursday. Neo, Carnival, they're on Friday. Maybe General Mills. I mean, a lot of these names, I wanted to show it to you. Feel free to screenshot it, but I don't think these are the most popular stocks by any means. So just quickly wanted to do that. Taking a step back, Trump team explored simplified plan for reciprocal tariffs. So there's so many things we got to be considering right now. Obviously for today, at any point, we could be getting a tariff update. We also have the potential ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. We know that tomorrow, Wednesday, is volatility OPEX and FOMC. We know Friday is not only a monthly OPEX, but it's also quadruple witching. And then we know a week from this Friday, next Friday, to conclude the month, that is the expiration of the JPM collar position, where we're somewhat close to the put strike at 5565. So between this moment, fast forwarding up till April 2nd, there was a lot going on. We have volatility OPEX and an FOMC meeting. We have a monthly OPEX that also happens to be a quadruple witching. Then we have the end of the quarter, the actual fiscal quarter, where JP Morgan's position is going to be expiring. And a couple days after that, that's when reciprocal tariffs are starting. So you can see in the next 2-week period, we have a lot of craziness between just announcements, geopolitical updates, option structure, and just a big movement of money in an environment of a lot of uncertainty. So it's on that note that we got to be paying attention to all of it. And we are getting a little bit more of a clear-cut idea of what's happening in the larger theme of this trade war. Instead of equalizing tariff rates with every nation, Trump's team debated sorting trading partners into tiers. So going into this update from the Wall Street Journal, the biggest question has been what is actually happening? We know this idea of tariffs, but we didn't know where they're going to come in at. We got some idea that it'll be reciprocal, but they're going to be cumulative. Then there's some weird alcohol arguments with the EU. Then we have the steel and aluminum thing with Canada. And finally, we're slowly but surely, we're drunkenly stumbling into getting a bit more clarity, which honestly is just going to bring the tensions down within the marketplace. The Trump administration officials are roiled in debate over how to implement the president's pledge to equalize U.S. tariffs with those charged by other nations, with aides scrambling to meet the president's self-imposed deadline of April 2nd to debut a plan. So that's when we're supposed to be getting the idea. And this is a couple days after the end of the JP Morgan position. Very, very important. Officials have recently waited whether to simplify the complex task of devising new tariff rates for hundreds of U.S. trading partners by instead sorting nations into one of 3 tariff tiers, according to people close to the policy discussions. Man, I want to be one of these sources one of these days. Jeez, that's just a life ambition of mine. Who emphasizes the situation remains fluid and could evolve in the coming weeks. We know it evolves literally every single day. The proposal was later ruled out, said an administration official close to the talks, adding that the Trump's team is still trying to sort out how to implement individualized rate for each nation. Many plans have been discussed, and when the president is ready to announce a plan to the American people, we will hear from him directly, and most likely it's going to be on April 2nd. He's even kind of made offhanded jokes that he doesn't want to do it on the 1st because then people think it'll April Fools. So I would assume at this point, like all these other tariff talks have gone, they're not really telegraphing beforehand. They're telegraphing where we think it's going to go, but it doesn't seem like we're in the point where we get Hail Mary conversations the day happening before and they never get implemented. It seems like they happen like the day they're being implemented, and then we have a day or two of craziness. So I don't think we're going to be getting major updates. Maybe some minor ones here and there, but I think they're going to go forward. And then the bigger question is how long are they actually going to last? Like, do they get solved that day? That's where it's going to be interesting in early April. I should clarify that if we get the 1-2 combo punch of the tariff situation calming down and also the Ukraine-Russia situation calming down, if those two things happen simultaneously, I think April and May, but really April, is going to be the most absurd bullish month ever. So I know we've been talking about this. This has kind of been like the major, I guess, discussion point between all of us now for the past couple of weeks, that I think there's still a bit more pain to be had going into the end of March, the start of April, but from the start of April through the end of April, potentially into May, if we get that 1-2 combo punch of tariffs coming down and the ceasefire talks between Russia and Ukraine progressing, dude, I think we could rip to the high heaven. So I'm still sticking on that. Of course, the timing might change a little bit here and there because we have to pay attention to how the option structure updates after the quadruple witching once again this Friday. So from there, I'll have a better idea of really my plan for April and May. But as of now, in the most generic sense, I am leaning very bullish for the month of April, but I'm going to be absurdly bullish once again if we get this like 1-2 combo punch. Now, bringing it to the short term, this is from yesterday. Piper caught the luck of the Irish right here. You could see I got into this play at 9.57. My head's blocking it a little bit. I doubled down. I went from 8 contracts. I added 4 more, so I had 12. And then I scaled out at 2, 247, and 351 end of the day. So I was in at an average price around 36. I got out at 40, 50, and then my runner, once again, this was literally just the end of the day, and I figured it was time to get out. So that was a nice $9,000 return. This was all called out in real time. So if you're interested at all and you're thinking, why should I get into the Discord? Well, it's because of this $9,000 in one day, all called out in real time, all managed in real time. This wasn't like a quick scalp trade. I was in it for hours, and a lot of people in the Discord absolutely crushed it. And better than that is you can get all this stuff for free for the first month. Just use that promo code GOONIE, GONIE, will give you full access to absolutely everything for free for an entire month. The entire purpose of me doing this is to kind of prove to you that it's worth it. So if right now, if you're on the fence and you're like, I just don't know, like whatever, but you get the Piper signal when it fires. It didn't fire yesterday. Didn't also fire on Friday, but that was more of a fat finger mistake. You get my trades, the Piper signals, access to everyone in voice chat. You get access to all the private lectures. It's just a great community of like-minded people who are as interested in trading as you are. So highly recommend checking it out. And once again, there's no risk to you. Check it out for the first month. If you like it, great, stick around. And if it's not for you, just make sure to cancel your account within the first month, and you're not going to be charged anything anyway. So that's the best way for me to prove to you that it's obviously a worthwhile effort. Beyond that, there's still a lot of freebies. Even if you're like, you know what, I don't want to be a supporter. Maybe you're just too busy. You're like, I check in when I can. I just don't have the much time to actively trade. Totally understand. You still get a bunch of free stuff, namely this newsletter comes out every single weekend. I break down the previous week, tell you what to look for in the upcoming week, all of the earnings. Here's all the major macroeconomic events. For example, today there's nothing scheduled, but the big thing tomorrow is the FOMC. I give you the seasonality of each individual day, which this is actually the strongest seasonal day of this entire week. Over the past 27 years, the better part of 3 decades, the bulls have won this day 2 out of every 3 years, 67% of the time, and they have an amazing profit factor of 7.14. This right here on the screen is the look at the hypothetical equity curve you would have if you bought at open and sold at close on the S&P 500 futures market. Clearly, over the past 3 decades, just long and strong to the upside. Does it win every year? No, it wins every 2 out of 3 years. So this time around, the odds are good, but obviously they're not guaranteed. But I did want to let you know, in terms of seasonality, today is the most seasonally dominant day of the entire week. Later on this week, Wednesday's a bit neutral. Thursday is slightly bullish, and then Friday's back to neutral. So very obviously, you could just see the clear difference in this hypothetical equity curve. Today, I would say from a seasonality standpoint, this is the most important day of the week to consider seasonality. Obviously, I know sharing that with all of you, that's a little bit awkward because right now we're looking a bit red, but hey, the market's not even open, and for all we know, I get that seasonality knows nothing about what's happening in the future, but it is odd how much it works out. I would in no way be surprised if maybe there's a bit of turmoil, chaos at market open, maybe a bit of bearishness, but at some point today, if we get that positive report between Putin and Trump, don't be surprised if we spike and then just rep from there. And then we're all going to look back and be like, yo, how did seasonality know that was going to happen? And my answer to you would be, oh, I don't know. It just seems to have worked in that way. The Bank of America survey shows biggest ever drop in exposure to U.S. equities. This is the classic be greedy when others are fearful and be fearful when others are greedy. We see right now, especially in the retail sector, it is a massive net seller of equities. And of course, I truly believe that they're falling for the trap once again of selling pretty close to the bottom. I want to be clear on my personal thoughts. This might be right, this might be wrong, but I do believe it's the highest probability pathway forward from here. Now, just because things are the highest probability doesn't mean it's going to play out, but generally you want to look for the high probability pathways. As of right now, I think we're close to the bottom. I think we still need to sell off a bit more. And of course, we're seeing a giant drop, as in people are selling closer to the bottom, when in reality, this is the point when you want to be greedy. And when things are getting hit, you're going to think, okay, what's showing the most relative strength? What is the seasonality? What is the cyclical work? How is the options market? How's the structure setting up? And if anything, I think once again, you're seeing the classic, you're selling at the worst point and you're buying at the worst point. People love to buy at the highs because they get excited, and they love to sell at the lows because they're getting scared. So when I see things like this, it's kind of like a no-duh thing. But in reality, we're seeing quote unquote dumb money, the retail space, being massive net sellers right now. When we're seeing the big money, as of the past couple days, really as of Friday, they started stepping in being large buyers. Folks, you gotta follow the big money. So with this, I just wanted to take that step back. I know we get into the nitty gritty of option structure and the key levels, which of course I'll be going over with all of you. But remember, when we see these dips, those are the times you should be more than willing to buy your favorite equities. And then when you have those random people in your life starting to talk to you about how good the stock market is, like everything's ripping, what should I buy? That should be your sign on the other side and be like, oh, okay, now retail is getting a little bit too frothy. Maybe I should lock in my gains. You got to train yourself to be like literally the opposite of just the general retail sentiment. General retail right now is very scared. That is closer for you to be the time of a buyer. And then when general retail is stoked and everyone's making money, and those dumb fucks that you knew and that barely pass algebra and they're making money in the market and they're like, this is the easiest market ever, that's probably the time where you should be, all right, maybe it's time to take a little bit of the green off the table. So I just wanted to share that. Obviously, pairing it together with my overall prediction of there's a bit more pain, but I think April, potentially into May, is going to be an absurdly lights out bullish month. So just wanted to share that with all of you. And now let's get into the specifics of the day. Right here, we have the S&P 500 index. And just to see where we're actually at this morning, we're around 650, I think that says. Let me switch it over here. Yeah, 5,650. So we are actually right at support. So here's the S&P 500. Obviously, you have the green, the red, and the white. Yesterday's high, low, and close are all very important pivotal levels. I highly recommend, especially if you're trading a major indice, marking them out every single day because they're just so informative. They have a lot of interesting stats surrounding them. You should definitely always know the previous day's high, low, and close. So that's the green, the red, and the white. And then from there, I have the horizontal yellow lines, which are all the key option levels. So a couple of things I want to talk about is with respect to just the delta gamma transition zones. That is really the overall chop zone. So the overall chop zone today, as of market open, and this could change, is this very large region between 5,660 and 5,710. So this, to me, this zone right here is a lot of chop, very indecisive, really representative of a non-trending market. So above 5,710, okay, that gets exciting. I'm looking for a push up to 5,730 and then 5,750. I didn't mark it out, but I really do like 5,730. On the flip side, if we are below this zone and not getting back up into it, we could see an additional sell-off. Obviously, my targets would be 5,625 by 5,600. Right now, we are actually scheduled to open below this zone. Not so good, but I also want to clarify we're opening up at support. We have this upside gap fill. Don't be surprised if there's a very quick push out of the gate up into not only this overall zone, but also just yesterday's close, which we know is a very popular trade, evaluating the previous session's close. So that's this choppy, indecisive zone. So my bull case would be above it. My bear case would be below it. I am not married to the bull or bear side on any given day. Sometimes I have a bias, but today specifically, I have absolutely no bias because really the overall just gamma is neutral. The open interest is neutral. We're as neutral as we've been in many weeks. So for right now, out of most days, I don't have a bias. I cannot explain how unbiased and neutral you should be today. Do not be married to any direction. Wait for the market to actually tell you what's going on. Now, you're going to see that I have the other major levels marked out. That's just where we have key open interest. 5,700, 5,650, a lot of open interest there. And then obviously I have my target. So the breakout and the push, I'd be targeting 5,730 followed by 5,750. If we have a breakdown, I'd be targeting a 5,625 followed by 5,600. So this is my bear case. This is my bull case. And I'm going to be waiting for the break and the successful hold outside of this transition zone. And then obviously I'll just be playing it accordingly. And as the market really gets going on the day, I am more than happy to talk about the developments in real time. With that being said, we're about to get rocking. Let me get over here. A lot of people talking about Tesla today. So we'll put that up. Tesla down 4%. Jesus. All right, let's get going. More than normal, this is a day to probably wait and be really confident. We saw it yesterday. Yesterday, the bullish prediction I had was right, but it just happened to play out in the afternoon, which was very painful for me personally. On that note, dingity, ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. Remember, it's just money. You can't take it with you when you go. You cannot take it with you when you go. All right, so we have SPY up here. We have Qs up here. Tesla, a little bit of a puke, then a pop, but we're just the first minute in. So as we're waiting to see things play out, I just wanted to show you my accounts. As you can see, I decided the 150K accounts aren't for me. There's a very good math argument of why you should be using the 150s, but from just a purely psychological standpoint, I just feel way more comfortable with the 50Ks. So on Friday of last week, you guys saw that I took the 3K hit. Yesterday, I took a good trade. It didn't go my way. And then all of a sudden I had no buffer. And then I was sitting around thinking, I was like, okay, do you even want to take the time to do little trades? Or do you just want to restart? So I decided to restart with the accounts that I feel most comfortable with. And I will create an entire video that's a better breakdown of my approach to this. But I want to be clear about one thing. I do feel as if I have a better plan of attack now. And the major thing I realize with all these prop companies, especially in the futures market, is the drawdown rules are so incredibly tight that even the best traders, because of unlucky variance, you can lose. So for example, what I'm trying to say is if you're playing poker and your dealt pocket ace is playing Texas Hold'em, there's still a chance you can lose. especially if the argument is, oh, if you like lose 1 or 2 times, you're out. So when you get going with these accounts, there is a bit of luck and variance until you build up that buffer. In my opinion, if you're trading a 50K account, the buffer that I feel personally comfortable at is when I get about up 10K, so about up to 60,000. Then from there, you can start to actually trade your system, and ideally you have enough buffer where even if you get hit with unfortunate variance, you're still much pretty good to go. So my newest plan right now, and it could be a chaotic, messy, I guess, situation, but what I'm going to attempt to do, and it might take a couple attempts. Obviously, I'm already on attempt 2 now of the whole rebirth, the replan, and all that good jazz, is basically to try to get that buffer as quickly as I can. Because once again, it involves you not getting unlucky through really through just what's happening in variance. So with that, and I will maybe on Friday or something, I'll put out a video more so detailing my exact plan. But my goal here is to give myself a fighting shot. I need the buffer. So to get the buffer, well, you could do a really, really slow grind, or you could just try to like shove it over the line and maybe get lucky, maybe you don't. If you get lucky, you try again. So, that's kind of where my mindset is at with it, is like, I know I can legitimately trade the system where there's some winners, there's some losers, and it's quote unquote normal trading. But to be able to pull that off, you just have to have the buffer. And if you don't have the buffer, it's very difficult. I know we've spoken about this quite a bit, but the hardest day trading them is your first day. Your next hardest day is your second day. And that's all because like each day becomes progressively less difficult, because ideally you're continually building up the buffer. And then I'm of the opinion that if you're trading one NQ contract, one ES contract, you can actually truly trade your system with about $10,000, but you need that in buffer. And obviously last time around, I was able to get that 10,000 quickly, and then from there the accounts just ballooned and ballooned and ballooned. So this time around, it's just honestly, I in my opinion, it's just, are you going to be lucky at the start? Like, is the market environment going to be good right when you get going, where you don't have those bad beats, that it allows you the opportunity to build up the buffer? So when it comes to something like that, where like, okay, there's like a bit of luck, that's all it is. Like, you're just, I guess, I hope you have good karma. I hope you're a good person type of a thing. So obviously I will be making a video that fully details what's going on and my plan. Of course, I just wanted to explain it to you right now because you're seeing the accounts. You're seeing that I'm no longer doing the 150s. I just wanted to make it clear that I still think the 150s are good accounts. I'm just personally much more confident, and I just have much more, I guess, experience dealing with the 50K accounts. So you're seeing that switch up there, and it's honestly just a personal preference type of thing. I know many of you in here, you're like, but I'm on the 150K. The math of doing the 150s is still very, very strong. So I don't want anyone to see what I'm doing and be like, oh, okay, like that must mean that all these other ones suck. If anything, it's to the contrary. I totally get the math of it, but just from the amount of accounts and months that I've been trading the 50Ks, for some reason, I'm just like, my psychology is like much more calm with it. So I just wanted to explain that. And then in terms of my exact strategy of how I'm going to try to be very aggressive at the start, obviously, if the trade sets up today, you're going to see it because I'm actively going to be executing on those trades. But I'll put out a video this Friday on the Evergreen channel, the Velvet Kohrs channel, for anyone who wants to know the specific details of the trading plan and how I'm going to go against it or about it, and then just hope that Lady Luck is on my side for the first. You basically need a lucky week or two where you can just be super aggressive. They all hit, you build up the buffer, and then from there, at least the way I trade, I can start trading my actual strategy. But there is a bit of luck to get off the ground, at least in my experience with it. Of course, you could argue, if you want to take the slow, reasonable conservative route, instead of trading an NQ contract, you could trade 3 micros, you could trade 1 micro. There is a conservative way to go about it, but that's just not my personality. I will be patient to a certain degree, but I don't necessarily have the patience to be like, oh, I'm going to spend the next 2 months building it up in a micro. And I'm not saying that's good. I'm saying if you do have the patience, you're probably a better person and better trader than I am. But just being realistic about my own personality, I don't have that patience to build it up for 2 to 3 months. From there, then I have enough of a buffer. So yes, there's a conservative route that is probably, you're a better trader, you're a more disciplined person. I don't disagree with that at all. I'm just being honest about like my own personality makeup, and I don't have that patience. I'm just gonna, I would rather just like rip it. Can you tell us about the evals? What do you mean tell you about them? to be able to trade on a performance account for any of these, you first have to pass the eval. I find passing the eval to be extremely easy. I find it to be absurdly easy. I mean, it's not a big secret. I mean, what you do is like, okay, if you're trying to pass a eval, you buy 2 accounts. When you have those 2 accounts, right before a major announcement, like an FOMC meeting coming down the pipeline tomorrow, you go long on one max and you go short on one max, and one of them should hit. My eval pass rate is just below 50%. If your eval pass rate is nowhere close to 50%, you're just not playing the game. You're honestly just not playing the game. It is really, truly on Apex. The other ones are a little bit more difficult to pass because you're not allowed to pass in one day. But on any of these that you're allowed to pass in one day, it should be absurdly easy. You should have just under a 50% hit rate. You really, really should. You buy one account, you buy another account, you go long on one, short on the other, let it rip on an event, have your strategy set up, like the order set up where the profit target's already being put in, and one of them should hit. Like, it's, Matt, that method has specifically been, no, it's not. See, this is what I don't get is people, like, where are you getting from? It is not banned. You can easily, it's banned when you're trading a performance account, but to pass an eval, it is not. And you can't find any proof of it. And I don't know. I just find it particularly frustrating when right now you're talking about something you clearly just don't know. You're not allowed to do it with performance accounts when you're talking about real money. But when you're talking about passing an eval, it is absurdly simple. It is absurdly simple. But yeah, right there, Mr. Waffle Sack, not banned. Yeah, it is banned on performance accounts, not banned on evals. Passing an eval should be like comically easy for all of us involved. And it is, if you look on Apex's website, they say their pass rate, they have to publish these numbers. It's around 45%. And why is it around 45%? Because most people who are thinking, they're like, oh, okay, I can roughly have a 50-50 hit rate. But I guess we'll let Chris think how he wants to think. But for everyone else in here, you cannot do it on a performance account, but you can easily do it on an eval account. It's so comically easy to get a pass on an eval. For the eval, what's the max contracts we can use? It depends on what account size. So on a 50K account, which is what I have, you can go up to 10, but I recommend never trading 10. Every single time I'm trading 10, that's when I get in trouble. So it does change. On a 150K account, you could trade up to 17 contracts. So it depends on the account size of how many contracts you can or can't trade. I passed an Apex eval in one day before. Not difficult at all. It's easy. Obviously, growing a PA is incredibly difficult, but passing an eval test, passing the test is easy on Apex. It's much more difficult on the other one. Something like take profit. Well, that got a little bit easier because they got rid of their daily loss limit. So that got a bit easier. I'm trying to think about what else is involved. So theirs got a bit easier. Ones like Top Step are hard because they do have the daily loss limit. Any company that has a daily loss limit on top of a max loss limit, which they all have a max loss limit, but any of the ones that have additionally a daily loss limit, those are the ones which are the most difficult to pass for the eval. And I'm not saying that necessarily makes it bad. I'm just saying, like, there's usually trade-offs. Like, I found that most of these firms have positives and negatives, and you have to find the one that is best for you and your trading style. So for me, the one that is best for my trading style is Apex and Take Profit. I know Top Step is a popular one. It's just not good for my trading style. So I highly recommend you find the firm that, like, you're like, okay, this is how I like to trade, blah, 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 like that type of a thing. And then obviously just take it from there. I just want to point out that the SPY took out its low from yesterday, which means right here, I called out this, my next target. We're coming up 5625. Don't be surprised if we have a little bit of a bounce from right here. This is a key options level. Obviously, the bear case playing out. We talked about it before the market opened. We opened here at support. Support didn't hold. We vomited to the low from yesterday's session. I think we have a bit more to go. We got pretty close here at 5628, but I see a big open interest level, a big options level right here at 5625. Don't be surprised if we have a little bit of a bounce up here, maybe back up to 5650. But if we do break, I'd be then looking. I did see that there might be a little bit of a hiccup around 5612, 5615, but my real target below this, for those with a little bit more patience, would be around 5600. So we didn't hold support. We puked to the next level. We either bounce out of this or we vomit to the next one, which my next one on SPX, I'd be watching 5,600 flat. But we'll see. Maybe some buyers step in. The Qs are below their low from yesterday, and the SPY is also looking a little bit saucy. What are you looking at long term? So it's funny you do that because I was actually looking at my long-term account and doing some modeling stuff this morning. Long-term account of what I think is uniquely set up to do well in the month of April. I'll give you 3. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but I think the month of April, it might, or the end of this month, the start of April, I'm very interested in buying the dip on Tesla, TSLA. I'm very interested in buying the dip on ASML, also the name of the company and the ticker. It's in the semiconductor space. And then this one's going to be a little bit weird, but it's more of a consumer staple, Costco, COST. So those are the ones I really like for this dip buy opportunity. Tesla, ASML, and Costco. I was doing, like I said, quite a bit of model work and looking at some relative strength, looking at some seasonality, looking at cyclicals. I think those are the ones that have the highest odds to do well coming out of this dip buy. So the question is, okay, if we're dipping here, what's going to pop the most? And those are the 3 that my model's kicking back to me of high interest. I thought it was going to be NVIDIA. I was surprised when it kicked out ASML, and then I looked into the numbers and it made a bit more sense. But anyway, once again, Tesla, ASML, and Costco. I think the Costco one was also a little bit of a surprise. But for this dip buy, we're talking about maybe in the next week or 2, what do we think is going to pop the most in April or May? My models are kicking back Tesla, ASML, and Costco. Also, to be fair with the Costco play, pretty much the entire consumer staple sector was strong. So I guess I just want to share that, like the entire sector was strong. So if you're like, I like Procter & Gamble better. Okay, cool. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just when I hear consumer staples, I just end up going with Costco. So I just wanted to share that. But we could talk about that when I actually do it. That's something that I'd probably be doing in my long-term account. I haven't made that move yet, but something I'm interested in. Thus far this morning, the options flow is telling you don't short this. Warning. If you're saying, hey, I might short this right here, the options market does not agree with you. The options market just started popping at 941. And remember, we saw this craziness yesterday where the options market was just, oh, never mind. I might have to take that back because literally in real time, it just got smashed again. Okay, the Mag 7 is the Mag 7. Something just got brutally smashed at 944. Like literally just happened in the last 10 seconds. Was there news on that? China's foreign minister, under the current situation, it's a great and positive significance for China and Europe to resolve specific economic and trade frictions. Okay, that doesn't seem to be that important. But someone just clocked the Mag 7, like clocked it hard. And they sold calls and bought puts. It's the old double doozy. The old double doozy. The SPY is holding a bit stronger, though. So still be careful. I see that price came down, but look at options really didn't drop that much. What do we have? Someone was closing out puts, and then they just bought puts back. But overall, it's not as maybe strong as a sign that you would want. The Mag 7 is like just legitimately weak. The Mag 7 is at a fresh delta low right there. The 5-minute, the 10-minute, and the 30-minute are bearish. The 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute are bearish. We might actually be puking to this, my next target all the way down here, which does mean I need to switch. I need to do a little bit of a switcheroo here in one of my accounts. A little bit of a switcheroo. Let's get rid of those. Let me update this. If you are in the Discord, okay, cool. I just updated that. I had to change one of my swing positions. All right. How much time has passed? Let's go back to checking this. There. Oh, by the way, Captain Condor is not playing today. Captain Condor. We don't have that large call credit spread and put credit spread. I'm very confused about what's going on right here. If you look at what's going on, prices coming down, 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 but options are actually starting to pick up. I think what's happening is the Mag 7 is getting absolutely brutalized. But if this stops and we continue to see this strength in the SPY, I mean, right here at 943, the SPY delta had an intraday high. Like the options market was actually crazy bullish into this. Obviously, I see the Mag 7s getting messed up, but be very, very careful about chasing this to the downside right now. The options market is not being supportive of that continuation in the sell. The Mag 7 is, obviously, we just puked to the low and we're bouncing a little bit. Even the NASDAQ here, it puked, but then bounced back up. I mean, obviously, I'm not your mom. Do what you want. But look at people are buying these calls. Be careful. I see it. I see that momentum is bearish, 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 bearish. I get it. But that was the exact same thing that happened yesterday. All the momentum was bullish, but the options market just didn't agree. And guess what? We went the opposite way. So once again, maybe you have a strategy that you're like, nope, this is it. But I mean, all I could tell you is the options market is buying this dip. That's the one thing quantifiably I could tell you is right here. They started buying the dip and they haven't necessarily stopped. In fact, if the delta pushes and makes a new delta high, this actually might represent the low of the day. So like I said, I'm not your mom. Do what you want. It's your money. But I am not putting my money on this continuation yet. Now, obviously, if I see the options market get clocked, well, yeah, then it becomes a pretty easy trade because momentum's already bearish, clearly. I don't think that's that tough of a call out by any means whatsoever. Actually, let me go back to, we don't need this right now. Let's go back to this. And we're at support. I don't necessarily want to be shorting at the low of the day at support. Granted, if you're right, if you already caught it early this morning, let's say you went short at 934 and you played it down to this level, you scale out a bit. Yeah, of course, ride the trend. You can set a stop to this recent high. I get it. But to enter a new position right now with respect to risk to reward, it's just not ideal. You can identify a trend and be like, oh, that's a crazy good trend. But that doesn't mean you take the trade just because you have to consider your risk, because you're not going to be right all the time. So if your risk is too much, that's where you could just get absolutely screwed. And right here, I see that we have a slight overshoot of this support, but we're kind of basing here now, and we're not seeing the S&P 500 vomit anymore. Actually, we're seeing strength. I mean, I'm seeing puts being closed out, longer duration puts. No one's really touching 0DTE calls. They started buying 0DTE calls, and now that's even gone flat. But the movement we're seeing is more so of clear movement in the longer duration puts. The delta drop, big pop, dropped again, now popping again. But something happened here right at 944, and it seemed uniquely specific to the Mag 7. Right here at 944, it had to be one of these major players. Was it Apple? Apple had a little bit of funkiness, but not the main culprit. Microsoft, similar situation. Was it Tesla? Nope, it wasn't Tesla. Tesla's actually seemingly basing right now. Was it Amazon? Amazon got murked on the call side. Google kind of got hit. Was it Netflix? Was it Nvidia? Yeah. Okay. So is the combo of Amazon and Nvidia today? That's a weird movement that we don't commonly see. But that's what prompted this whole thing to get a little crazy at 944. They're kind of trending back up, obviously much closer to the low of the day than the high, but we are on a relative basis seeing strength come in and on the SPY. We're clearly seeing strength on the SPY. Look at all these puts getting closed. Calls are flat. So if the calls pick up, if more puts are closed out, that actually, we might truly be seeing the bottom. I don't think we're out of the woods yet by any means. We should probably put up NVIDIA just because we had those right at 944 right here. Even though it doesn't look as crazy as it did this morning, this was when the options market on NVIDIA just got smoked. And then the other culprit that I pointed out was Amazon right here. Once again, 944. So there was a hit to the tech sector, specifically the Mag 7, specifically NVIDIA and Amazon at 944. So that caused a little bit of this panic that caused us to actually overshoot the support. But we are very quickly rebounding to the equilibrium of this support. As of now, based on the data we currently have, I am not sold on this. I mean, the delta's at the high. I see prices weak, but all I can think about is yesterday and how it was a fake out. I mean, price was really strong, but it didn't really make sense. Well, no, price seemed strong, and then we dumped, and that whole time options were weak. So we're actually seeing the inverted case today, where we're seeing weak price but strong options. Yesterday was different. We're like, well, should it bounce? But then the whole time the options were weak. Right now we're seeing strength in options, which is actually making me think that this might be a gnarly dip buying opportunity if we get a bit of follow through. If we get a little bit of follow through. The NASDAQ, look at this. The NASDAQ's at the highest delta of the day. Be careful on this short. The only thing I'm really seeing weak is the Mag 7, but the Mag 7 is now going flat. Let's just wait. Patience, patience, patience. Patient. We don't have to rush it. We're going to be here all day, folks. We're going to be here all day. We're right at major support. This could easily be the low of the day. I'm also trying to awkwardly pay attention to see if we get any updates related to the Trump-Putin talk, because that could obviously cause a little bit of craziness. Italian PM is talking right now. Not the most exciting here coming back. Mag 7 getting hit again. SPY not getting hit. There's a big, for whatever reason, big disagreement between the tech sector and the overall market today. Obviously, tech is leading us to the downside, but just be careful. Be careful, be careful, be careful. I'm trying to load this up just so I don't miss anything, and obviously I will be calling it out to you guys. I haven't done any trades yet in terms of my futures right here. Still just completely flat. I am going to try to be a bit more aggressive. It's going to involve luck. When you're a bit more aggressive, you can see I'm geared up to trade 2 contracts. Basically, I'm just hoping to find a period of luck where I can like aggressively build up that buffer on my account. Is what I'm looking for. And obviously, since I'm trading with greater size, I want to see if I can identify the lowest risk moments to actually get involved in this situation. Are we turning? I wouldn't mind taking the short on this. It might be turning. The NASDAQ just took a hit. The Mag 7's still getting rocked here. What do we have? So this, if you took this trade, my hat's off to you. I was a little slow to react, but this breakdown here at 19,713 right here. Obviously, the overall trend down. We had a little bit of a reprieve, and then it just cracked right there. So if you ended up going short somewhere in this region, I mean, it already quickly went 30 points in your favor. So congrats to you. The market might be giving us an opportunity to re-enter roughly at that level. I wouldn't mind playing that. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, that was... If you took that breakdown... I was a little slow to react. Oop. I almost just took that. A little bit of FOMO. I mean, yeah, you were short at 13, quickly puked all the way down to sub 80. That was a quick 30-point gain. You could have been in and out on that one. What I'm looking at over here on this other monitor is, is that going to go? Is that the high? Their trend line retest? Huh. All right. As you can see, I'm doing a little bit more complicated work now. I'm trading 2 contracts. This is related to the aggression that I was telling you about. And I don't know, I spent all night coding, modeling shit out. And I was like, all right, I don't have the highest odds of this working, but if it does work, all right, already locked in 1. Nice. Already locked in 1. I think I did improper math. I think I did. Come on. Come on. Work for me. Work for me. Let's de-risk it a little bit. Can he do it? Yes or no? Can he do it? Yes or no? Yeah, 77. I'm just going to leave it. Come on. Work for me. Shit. This vol's picking up. It's almost 10 a.m. I don't know if there's going to be like a little 10 a.m. fake out. How low did we get? 79. Come on. Dude. Really? It hit the value. I just didn't get my fill. Son of a gun. Gosh darn it. Well, golly gee. No. Seriously? It hit my value. Come on. Like, how can you even talk about a bad beat, you know? Talk about a freaking bad beat. It hits your value and you just don't get the fill. I'm not saying it was off. I'm saying it tagged it. I just didn't get the fill. Come on. Hit it. Hit it. There we go.
Order canceled.
Bada bing, bada boom. Looks like there was a little bit of, I guess, differential. Some of these made 1,000. Some of them made 950. Some of them made 850. So I guess there was a bad fill, but that's it. This is day one being a bit more aggressive, and the whole, oh shoot, I knocked this out. The entire purpose of this is just, I get it's a bit more aggression, so it's going to lower the likelihood of me building it up. But if it's right, I'll be able to get the buffer a bit quicker. So with that, because I'm being a more aggressive, the other trade-off there is that I need to actually, on top of it, be as disciplined as I can, as in I just need to be done here. I got my one trade in and one trade out. If you're being super aggressive and it goes your way, I just don't think that there's a statistical point of like really pressing your luck there. So locked it in, roughly made, what is that? About $24,000. So $24,000 locked in. The aggression worked today, and we're just going to kind of go from there and see how it plays out. The Mag 7 is still getting hit. The SPY is holding up, though. I find that so interesting. Where are we at on this? We're getting close, I suppose. Like I said, there might be a little bit of a hiccup here. I called that out earlier, but my major downside target would be 5,600. Now that we can't, like, we puked below it. We came up, we retested it, puking again. I'm waiting for the turn of the hour. I honestly wouldn't mind a retest of this that fails and then playing it back down. On the options market, I haven't really executed that, but I did take this push, obviously, right here. Oh, speaking of which, if you want to trade with someone else's money, right now, Take Profit's running a crazy good deal. Not only do you get 30% off, but you actually have to never pay an activation fee. So once again, all the firms are different, but right now, the best offer for you to pass the eval and go to this test, it means like the whole net situation would be 120. Well, that's actually just the fee you have to pay right now on Apex to upgrade from the past test up to the performance account. So right now, this is the current best offering. If you also want to trade with someone else's money, as you can see, I took 4 of these myself. So if that's something that interests you, use that code Goonie and you're going to get 30% off for life and never pay an activation fee. This is currently the best offer. Pinned to the top of chat, in the description of the video. 30% off, never pay an activation fee, currently the best offer, and just make sure to get that deal. You use the code Goonie, Goonie, pinned to the top of chat, in the description of the video. And yes, I took advantage of it myself right here. These 4 accounts, 1, 2, 3, 4, making about 1,000 on each of them. So it worked out swimmingly. And that price is per month. No, right here. There's never an activation fee. So pretty sweet offer, honestly. Best offer, use that code Goonie. Here's a look at the Mag 7 getting brutalized right now. Getting brutalized. The NASDAQ is showing a bit of strength, but the price action isn't. The SPY is now flat. So maybe is it trending down a little bit? It's just kind of, it's not. I would be more confidently bearish right now if I saw actual legitimate movement. Obviously, the levels are playing out well. We had this, it broke, we vomited to the next level, we bounced off of it, we retested it, we're vomiting again. Right here, this would so obviously be my target. Now, I missed it. It would have been nice to get in on this entry here at 944, but it happened so quickly. That was that burst of options trading. So if you missed it, you missed it. It just, shit happens. Shit happens. Shit happens. Yeah, we snapped that low. I would, at this point, if we are going to be persisting this way, I'd love to see a little bit of a pullback for me to create a position into. would love to see that. I would love to see that. All right, let me double check some sanity stuff for you. As of right now, clear target at 5,600. Below that, 5,550 with respect to open interest. The open interest change, pretty much the same levels. Let me reload this. This is the volume traded from last night till today. 5,600 is a big one. And then if it does snap, you're actually looking at another 50 points below. There's not much in here to stop it. So this is going to be a key level, and we're coming up to it. But right here, according to the puts, which actually now we have more puts traded. When we started off today, there was more calls being traded. But obviously from market open till now, it's shifted a bit. Watch 5,600. Don't be surprised if we bounce off of it. If we somehow do crack it, I do believe there's a legitimate opportunity down to 5,500. We have this. A lot of people were selling 5,525, whatever, puts. They were selling that as in they think we end above it, which makes sense. It's outside of the predicted move of 42 points. But right here, just in terms of the nodes you should be watching, especially if you're doing this, don't be surprised. There's a reason we all have this marked out. It's just a huge, huge level. So of course we could snap. And if we do snap, then craziness could be happening. But I wouldn't necessarily be betting the farm on it today, just because we know tomorrow is going to be the FOMC. So maybe people are just waiting for that to actually happen, waiting for some big, big event. Are you looking at the right chart? What chart? Yes, flat. Yes, flat. Actually, options are, I mean, Brian, are you blind? That's the definition of flat. Options are flat. Trust me, I'm looking at the right chart. I'm actually, in fact, very confident that I'm the one looking at the proper chart here, because I think anyone with eyeballs would say, yeah, options are flat. Speaking of options, there's one other thing I need to share with all of you if I can find it. Where is it? Okay, so what's happening right now on the 0DT is from market open to this point, puts are just flat. What's the issue is from market open until now, people are playing lower and lower calls. So what's happening is the emphasis on 5,600 is not changing. People are aggressively just playing 5,600, 5,600 on the put side. But from market open till now, they're actually playing lower and lower strikes. So this is kind of I guess, less optimism or less aggression, if you will, on the call side, while there's the same aggression at 5,600, which is another piece of information, at least on this first attempt, that makes me think we're not going to be cracking it on attempt one. Of course, we might crack it, and that could happen, but it's low odds. If anything, it might take like a second or a third test. But if it does crack, then we're legitimately talking around 5,550. So if this does not hold, I don't see much in the way of catching it all the way down here. I should call out, just because we're here talking about it, the JP Morgan position is at 5565. So if you're a person playing for this crack, if it does crack, whether it happens this morning or later on today, you might want to just be watching this generic zone. JP Morgan, it's the put side of their caller position. We have huge open interest here. It is, on a put perspective, it is the second most popular one all the way down there. But the biggest one of the day right now, I mean, you could see it. It's 5,600. So that is going to be a lofty level to crack. So don't be surprised if you have profit takers there. Don't be surprised if you have call buyers stepping in there. It's just there's a huge emphasis on that level, which is roughly equivalent to 560 on the SPY. It's not the exact same level, but it's kind of close enough that that's probably the zone you want to be paying attention to. Probably the zone. So unbeknownst to Brian, yes, the options flow is actually getting bullish right here. What is happening? People are still just buying calls. Actually, the calling has been nonstop buying since 941. Aggressive, longer duration call buying. We should probably look into what strike they're playing, because it could be something in April, and then that's a little bit of a red herring. But looking at just the 0 DTE, even that, look at this. Since 941, call buyers just nonstop. Buying calls, buying calls, buying calls. I don't really get where their confidence is coming from, but from 950 until now, there was puts being purchased, and now those are being locked back in. like I said, you don't want to chase these breakdowns, especially when you're this close to the target, especially when you have this options flow. Calls are being purchased and the put purchasing has slowed down. In fact, now there's puts being sold. So obviously just be careful on that. The real, I guess, bearish culprit we have today is the Mag 7. Ever since 934, this got absolutely decimated up until about 959. Since then, we're getting a little bit of a reprieve, the same way we are in the SPY here. The SPY's actually at a new delta high. That is a messy situation. Look at this. The NASDAQ is just being walked up. Mismatch here. I don't necessarily love shorting it right now just because the risk reward, it's not the most favorable, but I also don't necessarily want to be the dip buyer when I see the Mag 7 got like so utterly destroyed today. So right here, I think the only reasonable play you could do is have patience, and wait to see if this bounce fails. Being the dip buyer here, you're going against the Mag 7 trend. I suppose are going with the SPY trend. It's just too much mismatch. Like your trading life is going to be far, far easier if all these things align. The SPY movement and the tech movement and the price movement. Right now we have Mag 7 going one way with respect to options flow. The S&P 500 going the other way with options flow. If you look at price momentum, obviously bearish. I do find life is easier to trade on the right side of price momentum. But then if you look at it, you're like, okay, maybe I'll look for a bearish trade. Well, for that to happen, you'd want to see, the SPY is actually legitimately moving up right now. Not necessarily, like the price is bouncing a little bit, but these calls are astounding. Like this call buying has not stopped since 941. That is crazy. 0 DTE calls, longer duration calls. These puts are actually flat. Yeah, which we knew that. So the puts are flat and they're continually just playing 5,600. While the calls, let me just double check. I want to give you the most updated info. Yeah, they are just lowering the strike that they're playing. Okay, so it's going to come down to this of like, first of all, is this call buying aggression going to stop? Because if it does stop, the second this faucet turns off, we'll probably have this fall back over and a test of 5,600. And then from there, you're flipping a coin. We could either easily bounce off of it because so many people are playing it. If they choose to lock in their profits, great. If more aggression comes in, we might crack. If we bounce, okay, look for the bounce back up to 5,625. But if we do crack it, which is lower odds, but if it does happen, you're going to have an asymmetric payoff all the way down to somewhere in this 15-point region is what I would ascribe to being like the highest odds situation. Dude, this delta is still just going. What the fuck is this today, team? I thought today was going to be a nothing day, and it's just shaping up to be confusing as all hell. What is the VIX doing? Maybe we could get an idea off the VIX. The VIX is showing a bit of strength. All right, the Mag 7 popping, going a bit flat now. The NASDAQ did get walked up, just got hit. And then the S&P 500 is just a new delta high right there. We might be putting in a higher low. How far away are we from this? We might have officially put in a higher low, could not even retest the 5,625. Oh, brother, this is getting interesting. Oh, brother. Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Oh, brother. Damn. Vol is picking up a little bit. All right. The question here is, are we putting in a lower high or a higher low? So this is a little bit of the triangle pennant formation I would personally be paying attention to. The question here is this the lower high at 1009, or are we more so focusing on the lower high here or the higher low? So we have a little bit of this pennant formation, kind of paying attention to that, trying to decide, is the bottom actually being put in? Because if not, we could easily puke and go all the way down here, or maybe we recover somewhere into this zone and then set up a retest of 5650. I'm not really feeling biased one way or the other because the options market is giving me very conflicting data. I see the Mag 7 is absurdly weak, huge sell-off in Mag 7 options. We popped a little bit, and then ever since 10:05, we're going flat. The NASDAQ is really messy. That one I find to be the least informative. And then looking at the SPY, weakness up until about 940, and since then a clear trend to the upside, and it's legit call buying. It's zero DTE call buying. Why are so many people confidently getting zero DTE calls for today after this puke? Like, what is going on? Unless they're feeling that confident maybe about the Putin-Russia news, and they're like, yeah, the second that gets announced, we're going to pop. Like, I'm trying to put myself... Oh, something just happened. Calls just got sold. Calls just got sold. Huh. Here, let's go. Let's dive in here. Quickly bought back, though. Right there, you can see a little jolt to the downside, a bit of a fake out, if anything. Okay, I mean, a telltale sign of a reversal. What time is it right now? 10:12. Tesla's showing a bit of weakness. I see the VIX is just climbing. How's the Mag 7 looking with all this now? The NASDAQ, huge dump in the NASDAQ. Mag 7 just got another hit, another huge hit in the, what is it? Is it Apple? Nope. Well, Apple actually did take a hit after ripping. Nvidia took another hit. Be careful you're playing Nvidia right now. It is just getting smashed by the options market. It is getting smashed by the options market. All right. If I were a good trader, if I were cosplaying as a successful quality trader right now, like let's say I was an actor, like I'm Robert Downey Jr. I just get cast in a role for a Wall Street movie, and my character is a lights out phenomenal trader. Like let's just pretend for a second I know what I'm doing. If I was cast in that role, what would I be doing right now? If I'm this like Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Robert Downey Jr., handsome, phenomenal fucking trader, what would I be doing right now? Like, we're in acting class right now. We're doing a yes and improv exercise. What would that person be doing? VIX is picking back up. How does it look on the 30? All right. I'm not seeing. You'd full tilt. Crying. That's what the best trader in the world is doing. They're like just absolutely ripped to tears right now. That tracks. I could believe it. The VIX is picking up. Nvidia's there. Here's a look at the options flow. Let's go to the 30-second. Oh, okay. Nothing is loading for me. Stupid app. Hang on. If you're in the Discord, I did make some trades, but I'm having an issue being able to take a screenshot and get it to all of you. But I think you have a good idea of what I'm doing because we talked about it this morning. So it shouldn't be that big of a surprise. Do I like this? Do I really want to commit to this process right now? SPY is starting to bleed. NASDAQ is starting to bleed. And the Mag 7's been hit all day. All day. All right. All right. If you're in the Discord, we're going to see how this one rips. Jesus is going to take the wheel here. Jesus, hopefully he hasn't been drinking and driving. Hopefully he hasn't been turning some of that water into wine while he's taking my car right now. Dude, why is nothing loading? I'm at the point of bringing up a second computer. Well, luckily the market hasn't moved much. All right, we did that. And then if you are in the Discord, I'm updating my newest trades right now. Fuck, that one didn't go through. Dude, if I miss this. Okay, no, I didn't. Just had to switch it to a market order. Making all the market makers rich. Making all the market makers rich. All right. That's in there. Let's see if there's been any legitimate movement. The puts are still holding pretty constant at the main strike that they're playing. The two most popular strikes are 5,600 and 5,550, once again on SPX. But throughout the day, we're just seeing lower strikes being played all day on calls. Lower and lower strikes. So stability from a put perspective, bearishness from a call perspective. We are seeing a spike in vol, but with all of this, don't be surprised if this is the turning point. Like, there's a huge amount of open interest right here at 5,600. So if you're more of a conservative day trader, scalp trader, that's where you want to lock in. Now, if you want to scale out and then maybe get lucky with a bit of a push, okay. How lucky might you get today? Well, it's a tough day being FOMC's tomorrow. We also have the unknown event of, are we going to be getting an update from Trump and Putin and that stuff? From a technical perspective, lower highs, lower lows. There was a question of, was this a higher low here at 1009? The fact that we took it out means no. We're still obviously trending down. So price momentum on the S&P 500, bearish, 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 bearish. So all 6 of the shorter time frames, momentum is bearish of price. Price structure is also bearish because we're just seeing lower highs and lower lows. So price structure is bearish, price momentum is bearish. Looking at the options flow, obviously starting with the Mag 7, crazy bearish, like just top left, bottom right, very, very bearish. Looking at the S&P 500, very confusing. We started off as bearish, then we had a big bullish rip till 1008, and from then until now we're coming back down. So the momentum on the S&P 500 complex is confusing, but if you look at the tech side of things, namely the Mag 7 and the Nasdaq, more evidently bearish. So is this like the best setup for the bears right now? Well, not as of the moment, because I'm still seeing some bulls exist in the world of the S&P 500. They might be prepping to dip by somewhere in here. This is a key zone. I mean, just even showing this to you, look at, that's the node you have to get over. And if we get this rubber band effect, we could easily bounce up to 5,650, 5,675, and then after that, 5,700, like node. So it's going to come down to this. Not only do we have to test it, but is it going to break? Now, if we do break, which it would be tough to break because there's so many people playing it, but if it does break, a quick fall maybe to 5,580, watch that, and then 5,550. So watching all these key levels. These nodes are the most popular volume levels, open interest levels. This is what the market's playing. If this happens today, and I think it's absurdly low odds, but I just want to call it out, just in the event that we do break down, in the event that we break down and don't hold 5,550, obviously the next level right here, according to the open interest, would be 5,500 flat. So I just want to share that. I think it's a low odds situation, but I do want you to be prepared just in case there is some sort of announcement and like there's a large sell-off or something like that. I just want you guys to be prepared. But the major watch is, it's pretty simple. This is not rocket surgery right here. Big open interest, big volume, big technical level, big psychological level. A lot of people are focusing on this. If they decide to lock in their profits, okay, we might bounce. If bulls decide to step in here, okay, we might bounce. If enough bulls don't step in, and if the puts get more aggressive, if they decide, nope, there's further to go, look for that to crack. I have no special prediction of do we bounce here or do we crack. No special prediction. It's the key level that you got to pay attention to. That's how this stuff works. You identify the key level and you wait to see how the market reacts to it. There's no way to predict what's going to happen here because we don't know what traders are going to decide to do. You don't know if there's going to be dip buyers stepping in. You don't know if there's bears going to be pushing it lower. As we get to these key levels, all you can reasonably do is have your bull case recovery and have your bear case sell-off and then play it accordingly. And then obviously your odds might be increasing by trading with price trend, trading, obviously check both price trends, checking out volatility. Is it expanding? Is it contracting? And then looking at the options flow. The more things that align for you, the better off it's going to be. The better off it's going to be. So right here, we got smacked pretty good up until 9:45, a little bit of a drift to the downside. I'm still looking for the SPY to test 560. The Qs might be bouncing early, though. We did hit the low from 2 days ago. We quickly slashed through the low from yesterday, and we're now right here as of 10:18 at the low from 2 days ago. So that's probably making the daily chart look a bit ugly, if I had to guess. Let's check this out. Here's the SPY daily chart. Potential classic reversal right here. A little bit of a bear market rally, just putting in a fresh lower high. So tomorrow, if we were to take out this low tomorrow, this would be an official lower high. So we would have this high all the way to this low and then another lower high. So that's not so surprising. The Q's looking even more brutal. So it's just the bounce wasn't as much, taking out the low from yesterday, taking out the low from 2 trading sessions ago. It looks like a very important level here is 472. Right here, just a low, a low, a low, a low, and a close. So watch 472 on the Qs. If we take that out and close below it, that's kind of brutal. We might as well look at the small cap sector. Bouncing a little bit more. Did take out the low from yesterday, pretty far from the low 2 days ago. We'll see how this one plays out. Looking kind of like the SPY. Bitcoin showing some weakness, lower highs, lower lows. You guys have probably seen this if you spend as much time on the day as I do on Twitter. But someone has a massive 100 or 50x leverage. Someone has a huge position against Bitcoin. Like they have many millions of dollars leverage that Bitcoin's going to get crashed, get knocked, get cracked, and it's thus far going pretty well in their favor. Palantir down 4.5%, putting in a lower high. That's not so good. Tesla, I know many of you guys are trading it right now. In fact, looking kind of brutal. Let me clean up this chart a little bit. So Tesla, you have the upside gap fill to 232.80. Why is this alert not working? Hello? Okay, I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, you have an upside gap fill to 232.80, and then the recent low is 217, so you're kind of just watching that region. NVIDIA putting in another lower high, similar to Palantir. Broadcom, not really doing anything. Netflix had a nice bounce, but nonetheless a lower high. Meta is just, what the fuck happened to Meta? Meta might be legitimately cracking right here at 580. The sad thing is I had puts at 700. That is probably my biggest fuck up of the year, of not just holding that. Dude. Brutal. The next stop on Meta might be 560. MSTR not doing much. Microsoft putting in a lower high. Apple maybe trying to save itself, but had a pretty sizable puke there. Coin looking unhealthy, seemingly continually pressing this support at 176. ASML not doing anything. RUB not doing anything. Amazon getting cracked. We saw Amazon and NVIDIA had some pretty negative options movement this morning. So not surprised they're looking this week, but Amazon did, I suppose, get that downside gap fill. Let me clean this up. DJT, not really doing anything. Qualcomm actually trying to bounce. Google, they announced that they bought a new company this morning. Of course, not received well from the market, cracking this support at 160. You might be looking at the downside gap fill just below 152. XRP not doing anything. Solana tilting down. Texas Roadhouse nothing. Bonds nothing. Oil potentially bottoming. Gold new all-time high. Gold new all-time high. Not so good for the bulls in the equity market at the moment. Not so bullish. IBIT getting hit as well, which makes sense being Bitcoin is being hit. Right now, price is flat. Similar to yesterday, the big movement was at the start of the day, and then we spent hours and hours and hours just grinding sideways. So don't be surprised if that happens again. Don't be surprised whatsoever if the entire midday session is a bunch of nothing. We obviously had a nice decisive move until around 947, and then we had a continuation, and in reality, we're just now stuck in this range. With it, this is just today's current intraday range. I obviously think the option levels are a bit more important. So I'm going to be watching how the price interacts not only in this range, but with the levels already laid out. If we crack the low, I'd be looking for a test of about 8 more points, which would be roughly 80 cents in the SPY, rough equivalent of a test of this 5,600 level. Obviously on a recovery, even there, it might be sketchy because the recovery out of this zone is still in this chop area. If we somehow get above yesterday's low at 5,632, I'd be looking for a push up to 5,650. So that's just the next major level. But of course, you'd have to take out this high at 5,640 right here that we saw kind of double top vomit. Right now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the bears are currently in control on a 0 DTE basis. I find that surprising because when we opened up the market today, it was very neutral. I thought today was going to be a quintessential chop bullshit day. I was actually in no way expecting this decisive of a move. But hey, I guess that's why we do this, because you just never know what the market's going to really do for you. If you're in the Discord, you can see that I made 2 new trades. Please pay attention because they do have different expiration dates. So I just want to call that out to you. Just a slightly different mindset that I'll happily explain in Discord today. And then for those of you on stream, you saw that I am trading these accounts. And as I laid out to all of you, I'm doing it in a bit more of aggressive of a style, because I think the way to have the most success in this world of prop trading is to, as rapidly as you can, build a buffer. Now, if you're doing something rapid, it probably means you're taking on a bit more risk than you should. So it's just, are you going to catch a lucky couple trading days where you can actually build out that buffer? So today was day 1 of my newest style of approaching it. You guys saw it, but made about $25,000 across these 24 different accounts. I think it was around 24 grand. Obviously, there was some weird slippage issues. I copy traded all these. Some of them made 1,100. Others of them made 855. So a little bit of slippage issues, even though it was all the exact same trade. But just wanted to show you that. Obviously, I'm done on that on the day. We'll return to it tomorrow. But I did want to call out that I am back to using the 50K accounts. I'm not saying they're the best. I'm saying they're the best for me. Obviously, you should be trading the accounts that are best for you and your trading style. But for me, I do feel the most comfortable with 50K. And I completely understand the math of 150, but I've had the most success with the 50K. I like the ratios on the 50K, so I'm just a little bit more biased towards them, but obviously do what is best for you. This Friday, I'll be posting a video that better explains my current approach to building up that buffer, because I truly, truly, truly believe your odds of success dramatically increase when you have that buffer. So the hardest part is your first trading day, and the next one is the next trading day, and the next trading day. The name of the game to have success in prop trading is you have to have that buffer so you can freely trade. And right when you first start, the buffer small, very, very small, especially if you're trading an NQ contract. So you kind of have to be a little bit lucky at first, or really, really just be patient to wait for those A+ setups. So what my overall plan is going to be is I'm going to be patient and wait for only the A+ setups. But when I do it, I'm going to do it with more size. So in one aspect of the trading, I'm going to be a bit more disciplined. I'm not going to take like the C or B+ setups. I'm going to wait for the A or A+ setups. But when I do it, I'm going to hope that I'm lucky and the read is right, and I'm going to hit it with more size. So that's exactly what you guys saw today. So I was forced to have more patience. I was forced to wait for more things to align. And when it finally did, that is the more disciplined side. And then I went very quickly from there to be less disciplined by trading more. So the entire goal now is to wait for only the A+ setups. But when I do it, trade it with more size to try to quickly get that buffer as quickly as I can. That's the current mindset. Like I said, I'll be explaining the entire concept in the update video, the Velvet Course update video that's going to come out this Friday. So be on the lookout for that. If, as we're waiting for this to break or bounce, more than happy to answer questions on that. In fact, now that the market's doing nothing, the SPY started to puke, a little bit of an uptrend. The NASDAQ, same thing. And then the Mag 7, still pretty weak. We got 2 massive hits today and just flat. So as we're waiting for this paint to dry, is there any questions on this? Remember, on Take Profit, this is currently the best offering for all of you. Use that code Goonie to get 30% off for life and never pay an activation fee. This is currently the most affordable option. So check that out. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. To get the discount, make sure you're using that code Goonie, Goonie, which is the code I so commonly get all these companies to try to use. It just makes life quite a bit easier. So just wanted to call that out. In the meantime, are there any questions on how this works? Are there any questions on the Discord? Are there any questions on options flow? Right now, this is actually a really good environment because we have quite a bit of time to be able to have a little bit of a discourse here back and forth, as once again, the market's just not doing anything. So this is prime time. Questions. Let's do this real. Did you do the wealth charts? That's the one that you pointed at. If that's the rhythmic one, I did the rhythmic one. Will the quick run up mess with your payouts? Potentially on the first request, but even if you get denied, then you just trade another 8 days and then you're pretty much good to go, at least the way I'm doing it. What's the rule for 30% consistency? It's total for that day or for the trade for Apex? No singular day can be more than 30% day of your total profit. So let's say you've traded many, many days and you have $10,000 of total profit. No singular day can be more than $3,000, which is 30%. So once again, that 30% rule that you're thinking about, no singular day can be more than 30% of your total profits. Thoughts on TLT? Bonds are probably like a little bit of a safe haven bet right now. We are seeing TBT doesn't have an activation fee. Right now it doesn't, but sometimes it does. But right now that's the offering, that there's no activation fee. Where do you get your Ninja Trader indicators? I built some. Some of them are free. Some of them already come with the platform. Does Casper haunt you in your sleep? 100% of the time. What's up with Google? Why the red? I mean, the whole market's red, brother. It's not like it's not like Google is like a standout. What about the 30% rule on losses? I think you're talking about no individual unrealized gain can be more than 30% of your total buffer. There is another 30% rule, and that one, after you make 5K in your account, it does grow to 50%. But once again, that's a thing that it becomes easier as soon as you grow your buffer. Okay, so that will affect your run-up cushion. So that means 30% rule. You just need to be consistent if you want a first payout. Yeah, but once again, in my opinion, and I truly believe the math surrounding this suggests that the most important thing is getting the buffer, and then you worry about everything else later. Because once you get the buffer, you can start trading in a way to bring your account into good standing. But if you're always like, no, I got to follow this rule and that rule and that rule and that rule and that rule, it might make it impossible for you ever to get that buffer. So still paramount is getting the buffer. If no one day can be greater than 30% consistency rule, how do you finish an evaluation one day? Because consistency, that only has to do with your performance accounts to get payouts. It has nothing to do with eval. It's because there's no such thing as, there's pretty much no rules on the eval accounts. That's why it's so incredibly easy to pass the evals. I know before there was people in chat saying you're not allowed to do that. You are allowed to do it. I've done it literally hundreds of times. There are some rules, but there's like, I don't know, 1/10 of the rules on eval as there are in the performance. Are the Apex accounts better for day trading or swings, or it doesn't matter? You can only day trade. You're not allowed to swing things overnight. Same thing with Take Profit. Same thing with Vanquish. You're literally not allowed. Do you pay a monthly fee for each of those 25 accounts? No. I do on Apex, I just do the one-time payment. So you have an option to pay $80 per month, or you could do a one-time payment of $125. What about Vanquish? Same thing. You cannot swing overnight. This pretty much the sim defunded world, not the prop world, but the sim defunded prop world is pretty much all day trading. Why does it say 170? Because you didn't put in the discount code of Goonie. Right above that, it says coupon code. Put in Goonie. We offered to make the beep beep sounds and you got airlifted out of your predicament. What? Did you use the tow truck to haul you out of the corner? What are you guys talking about? Have you used the trade copier on mobile? No. Since I use Rhythmic, I have to be on a PC. I don't use Trade of 8. People who pick Trade of 8 can trade from their phone, but I use Rhythmic, which means I have to be on my PC. Can you pass the Top Step evals the same way? No, you cannot. Top Step has much more difficult rules to pass the eval. The easiest one to pass is Apex. The next easiest one is Take Profit. then there's all the others. All the others have daily loss limits, and you need to trade for like multiple days. Apex by far is the easiest to pass. Now, I'm not saying that's the easiest for you to be successful on, but just if the question is who has the easiest test to pass, it is by far Apex. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best option, because at some points it's more expensive. Like right now, take profit is a bit cheaper. So there's other things to consider, but Top Step has other rules like the daily loss rules. And then, I mean, there's so many of these firms and you have to compare all the rules. Wait, are you able to trade prop money on Tradeovate? Tradeovate is the data provider, one of the options that a lot of these guys use. And technically the data comes from CMG, but that's, or CQG, I think. Yeah, CQG it's just who's the data provider. Possible make a video teaching us how to build a trading system like yours. That's in the Discord. We have that stuff. A lot of this stuff is how long before I can get into the Discord? 24 hours. Just signed up around 10 a.m. The database should update at the start of every new hour. So if you signed up in the 10 a.m. hour, you should be good at 11 a.m. Drew, I'll make sure to manually run it right after today's show. So if you have any issues, just DM me MMK147 on Discord or media@Matthew.Kohrs. You can email me media@Matthew.Kohrs and I'll personally help you. But it should be updating at the start of every new hour. Why not just mirror your trades? I do. That's exactly why I have a trade copier. Why not mirror my trades? That's literally what I do. I traded on one account and I mirrored the trade to the other 23 accounts. So I have 20 of these. I have 4 of these. I took a trade on this top account and I copied the trade to all these other accounts, which is why they're up roughly the same amount. It's not like I traded these all independently. It was one trade that was propagated to 23 additional accounts. Matt, I say on payday Friday, you make a reward be lifetime Discord membership. No. I have no, I mean, lifetime Discord membership, that's absurdly valuable. I mean, if you ask anyone in the Discord what we do in there, like I know a lot on the show, like we're fucking off and it's fun and money guns and magnets and this, but what we're doing in the Discord, there's probably no other Discord really pulling it off. Like it's I mean, the value of the Discord, the value versus the cost, it's actually absurdly in your favor. I mean, ask anyone in the Discord, what I charge is borderline criminal to me. The amount of like stats and breakdowns and signals. And if anything, I'm actually just going to keep adding more. But just to give it away for a lifetime, why would I do that? Are you paying for your copier? Yeah, it was a one-time fee. I think it was $150. It was the Apex Trade copier. There might be better ones. There might be worse ones. That's just the first one I found, and that's the one that I use. But yeah, I used the Apex Trade copier. I think it was a one-time fee of $150, and you got 2 uses. Like you could use it on... to be fair, most people say that about their Discords. Okay. Yeah. No. That's like of course everyone's going to try to market it that way. Of course everyone's going to. Here would be my proof. Up $155,000 year to date. All of these trades were called out in real time. That would be like, everyone's going to say it, but then are they going to show you the proof? Every single one of these trades was called out when I got into it, and then it was alerted when I got out of it. Up 155 grand, up 171% from January 1st till March 18th. Right there. So like, yeah, of course we're going to say it, but then my retort to that would be like, oh, prove it to me. And you guys have already seen year to date, I've been paid out $200,000 from Apex, and then I'm up 155 there. So I'm up 355,000 on just those 2 things alone. And that's just year to date. What's this? 3.5 months into the year, I'm up basically I'm net ahead by 10 grand a month. I made 25K in the last month in the Discord. Former Tesla trader, I paid much for far less on Discord. Yeah, I mean, everyone's going to try to say what they have is the best. And I could show you my results. I could show you my success. But at the end of the day, you kind of have to judge it for yourself, which is why I do the free month, because I don't want anyone to be like, oh, like, should I take a stab at it? Like, I don't want anyone to feel like they got, because like that happens a lot in this space. So the only fair way I could come up with it is like, okay, I'm willing to give away a free month to everyone to prove I can do what I say I'm doing, to show you guys all in real time. And then if I don't deliver on it, it didn't cost you anything anyway. There's literally no risk to you. So I'm more than happy to show you exactly where I'm at. I'm transparent about my wins. I'm transparent about my losses. And then also for those of you who might be the most dubious, that's exactly why the entire first month is free, because then you get to get in there and test it out for yourself. And if you like it, great. I'm in the Discord and I'm not overly active. I find value as he lays out all of his trades. You can follow it or not, but following me has up more than 6 months worth of Discord in weeks. I truly believe in the first free month. I truly believe if you're following what's going on, you'll be able to pay for the next month. Really, another aspect of the free month is that you get in there and then you learn what's going on and use that knowledge to pay for the next month. And then obviously as it grows and grows and grows, the idea is for you and what you're learning in there to always be paying for the next month. So like the net situation is it never like costs you anything. How's the options on SPX father? Nothing. We're just broke like sideways. Nothing's Mag 7 flat, NASDAQ. Actually, the Nasdaq's picking up. That's the least insightful one. The SPY's picking up a bit more, but I don't get it. It's 0 DTE calls. So these puts are flat. But what's weird is, okay, even though more calls are being bought, they're playing lower and lower strikes, which actually means they might be net sellers of calls. And they're selling lower and lower and lower strikes. No, that would drop. You would see the delta dropping if they were selling. Well, I guess the open interest. You know what we could do is we could take a further dive into it. This is a good question. Let's see if we can discern. Okay, so this is over the past 15 minutes. Just the last 15 minutes worth of data. Let's see if people are net buyers or net seller of premium. Net seller. So there's quite a bit of calls being sold. So the yellow is calls, the blue is puts. And when we're on the bottom side of the plane, they're selling calls. And we're on the top side of the plane, that means they're buying it. Same thing with puts. So right here, you can see there's actually quite a bit of calls being sold. And more specifically, a huge amount of the 5-7-30s, which is very far away. So it's a good bet, but what the fuck? That's really far away. But anyway, over the past 15 minutes, that's been the major play. People are selling the 5-7-30 call, which means that they're looking for today to conclude below 5-7-30. So I get it. I think they're right. And then also, what else do we have on the put side? Yeah, the 5-7-30 over the past 15 minutes is a popular one. 5-6-20, 5,600. Sorry, I should split up the calls and the puts. So on the call side, it's 5-6-20. 5,730 and oddly 5,800. And then on the put side, it's 5,600, 5,570, and then 5,540. That is what's been getting dinged over the past 15 minutes. That's what's been popular ever since like the market settled down this morning. But overall, we do have a delta pressure back down to 5,600, which means we would drift there if no one else traded today. Obviously, that's more of a theoretical value because people are going to keep trading. We're coming up to a node here at 5,625. The next node is at 5,650, and then to the right and then to the left, we have 5,600. So I'm watching this node, but I still find it of incredible interest that the biggest open interest of the day right now, live, is 5,500. That's so far away. And then on the call side, it's all the way up at 5,775. That's just fucking crazy. That's crazy that they're looking for that much range the day before the FOMC meeting. It feels like someone's in the know. Feels like someone's in the know. Thank you for the Q&A, Matt. That has answered so many questions. One more. When I pay for lifetime after beating the eval, do I continue to pay the original monthly fee? No. Once you pay that one-time eval, it's it. That's it. So you pay a monthly fee for the eval. Most people do it in one day, so you only have to pay one time. Then you go from eval to performance. In a performance, you have two options. You can either do the monthly fee, which is 80 or 85, or the one-time fee, which is 120 or 125. I do the one-time fee, and then once you do that, it's it. As long as that account is alive, you never have to pay anything else. Good question, though. Good question. Now Putin laughs and dismisses his spokesperson. Wait, are they actually... Putin's talking right now? This chat's happening? Or are you just, like, talking about the whole situation? Hang on. Is Tesla getting rocked? Specifically Tesla? Ooh. Da 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 da. Tesla, 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 Tesla. Old Tesla. Old Tesla. Old Tesla. All right. Hang on. How is this updating? Puts, calls are still getting walked down. We have some negative slopes there. Just looking for any interesting updates. Anything I could tell you. Obviously, we just put in a lower high, seemingly getting cracked at the top of this region that I laid out right here. Just the no man's land. Watch for the crack at the bottom, and then we're watching 5,600. We're watching 5,600, and if you're in the Discord, I just did another swing play. Let me update this as quickly as I can. As quickly as I can. All right, where are we at? Swingers, 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 swingers. Right, we did that. We did this. All right, we threw that in there. All right, and then I actually do need to update Piper. Piper fired, and I've been forgetting to post it. Let's just hope that craziness doesn't happen today. What is today? 18th. What do we have going on? All right, if you're in the Discord, I'm pretty much done on the day. I updated swingers, Piper fired. I'm done with Apex, so I'm kind of done. Now I'm in the point of everything's stable in my account, and I just kind of have to sit here and wait. Putin in conference. Can I find? This might be important to listen to. Might be a bit important to listen to. I'm seeing the VIX pick up as well. Here's a look at the flow. That's Tesla getting rocked throughout the day. The Mag 7 and try to get going up until 1042, seemingly getting smoked again. The NASDAQ popped up until 943, now getting a slightly hit. The SPY hit a new Delta high at 1042. There is some weird discrepancy between the options flow today and what we're seeing in the overall market. Why are there so many zero DTE callers stepping in? There has been not from 940 up until 1040. There was 1 hour straight of zero DTE call buying, and they're getting fucking smoked. They're very much praying we stop at 5,600 because if we crack that, this delta is going to get unwound. And when that gets unwound, the market makers are going to sell their longs, their protective hedge longs. And then that's what's going to be prompting this to fall another, I don't know, 35, 50 points, something like all the way down here. So this delta that got at, I'm looking at the green candles. Those are the zero DTE calls. If this net buying ends up faltering here at 5,600, that's what's going to be causing the market to capitulate another 35 to 50 points. Watching right here. And I'm really watching this flow because just there's so much money on that side that they're just going to get fucking goose, dude. They started to capitulate a little bit, but wow. I guess I just don't get that play. I don't get the play whatsoever. But hey, I'm not their mom. I'm not their mom. Back in the day, I used to look at Apex, but it was a pain to work on my Apple. Do you know if they made it easier? I don't think it works on Mac at all. I'm pretty sure it's just a PC thing. You could go the Trade-Evate route for sure, and that will work for you, and you could do it on mobile and stuff. That's why they have the different data feeds. I personally use the one for PC. But if you want to go the Mac route, I think you would then have to go the Trade-Evate route as the data provider. I know Ninja won't work on a Mac unless you have Parallels or something like set up. When is Trump speaking today? Is Trump speaking today? I guess I didn't know that. Trump schedule today. His public schedule is right here. Today is Tuesday. He's signing executive orders. In-town pool call time, 9 a.m. The president signs executive orders, closed press, Oval Office. I don't think today's the 18th, right? Yeah. I'm not seeing like an official interview or anything like that. Oh, looks like we might be bouncing off the bottom of this region. Yeah. Ever since this puke here at 944, which was a big shift in the Mag 7 options market right here, you can see 944 got dumped right when these options got dumped. That's exactly what prompted this sell-off. Ever since then, a little bit of reversion, and now we are just stuck in this no man's land of this range. We puked hard, a little bit of reversion, puked again. So that's the high, that's the low. We bounce a little bit, bounce a little bit, bounce a little bit, bounce a little bit, bounce a little bit. Like, we're just kind of like yesterday, where so much of the day was just like a range, and then you have to just wait for something to legitimately change. Obviously, paying attention to yesterday's low at 5631. We have a key open interest level at 5625, where we were just smacked. Actually, we've now been smacked there twice today after the breakdown. Yeah, you could watch today's intraday low, but I think if we start to break down, the very logical area is 5,600, which is basically 560 on the SPY. From there, might bounce, might break. I don't know. If it does break, I think we have a good shot at a 35 to 50 point vomit somewhere into this region. The JP Morgan put position and also the key open interest level right here if we break. And that's a giant if, like IFF, if this, then that. On the flip side, if we bounce from there, then I'd be looking for recovery, about a 30 point recovery up into here. That would be like my base case. But right now it's a lot of watching like paint dry. A lot of Trump speaks with Putin today. Yes, we know that. Noon is apparently supposed to be before 6 p.m. in Russia. It's 5:50. So they're talking now. All right, let's see if we can find that information, because it might be obviously Trump, Putin. Let's see. Putin is making Trump wait again. What? Two leaders were supposed to have met already, but Putin is still at some conference. When Putin is reminded of the meeting, everyone starts laughing. They're literally making fun of Trump and his convoy. That's not the best setup. President Trump and Vladimir Putin expected to get on the phone call within the next few hours. So we could actually be getting an update from this at any moment in time. Putin laughs and dismisses his spokesman's statement that his call with Trump should happen before 6 p.m. Don't listen to him. That's just his job.
Ну, на этом я хотел бы, Владимир Владимирович, поблагодарить вас, и учитывая, что, судя по заявлениям Дмитрия Сергеевича Пескова, у вас разговор должен до 18 часов состояться с Дональдом Трампом.
I wish they had subtitles. So that's not the best start. Obviously, Trump's not going to be reacting well to finding out that he's potentially being made fun of. So that's a little bit of some downside risk. Jesus. Putin is said to want all arms to Ukraine halted in Trump truce. I don't think Trump is going to be one to respond well to potentially being mocked right going into this meeting. That's definitely some downside risk. Not the best setup. Are we missing anything else here? I just want to see if I'm missing any other breaking news. We got beards. We got a picture. Something about a judge, Bongino. He's the new deputy FBI director. What else do we have? Anything. The new trailer for Happy Gilmore 2 drop. Dude, first one was such a slap. Such a bop, if you will. All right. Oh, yeah. Kanye, once again, proving how racist he is. I think he's trying to put a swastika on his album cover, and he's selling like SS shirts. So that's crazy. That's the world we currently live in. I'm not seeing any other political updates. Let me come back to this. Here's the options flow very quickly. S&P 500, flat. Mag 7, flat. Not really trending at all at the moment. We're seeing flat price. Obviously, the trade of the day was pretty early on. What was that very first trend line break. Did I still have this on the chart? Yeah. I was talking about this being the trade of the day right here. I didn't catch it. Obviously, I caught it earlier, and that ended up being better because I had a lower risk point. But not knowing where the future goes, that was a beautiful trade right at 952. I would contest based on the option structure, the options flow, price momentum, and this trend line breakdown. I would very much contest that this was the trade of the day right there. 952. Of course, if you waited a little bit, you could have got a better entry and you could have felt better about it because we did make a fresh low and it bounced up. So because I was late, I just happened to have gotten in a better trade, but it's not like at that moment you would have known it was the better trade. I quickly locked some in, bounced back a little bit, locked more in, and obviously if I waited even more, it would have been an even better trade. Well, maybe not necessarily. We're actually kind of back. If I just arbitrarily held this, at one point I've been looking really good. At one point I've looked really stupid. At one point I would look good. And right now it'd basically just be break even. But for me, I was in at 955, out at 957. It was a 2.5 minute trade. Like I said, I was a little late. That ended up just breaking in my favor. I'm not saying that I intentionally waited. I would have preferred to take that trade because I probably would have logged out or would have locked in one. And then if it kept puking, I would have been good. But hey, it broke my favor anyway. And right now you can see the EMA is just not really going anywhere. Not really going anywhere. So my contention, especially for these accounts, if you're doing this type of a thing, my argument would be the trade of the day happened at 952, and then you could have even added more to the position if you were a trend following at 955. I happened to just take the 955 trade, not in any way knowing that we would be bouncing as aggressively as we did. I mean, we bounced from 80 up to 22, which is a sobering reminder of why you don't want to chase it down. You want to wait for some sort of pullback because even these bounces can just be brutal. It looks like we might be getting a little bit cracked right now. Looks like we might be getting a little bit cracked. We're back on the south side. So for those of you, once again, I'm not taking this trade, but if you're looking for a trade, similar setup. You're now looking for the crack of that trend line. So I always find this to be really interesting. Like in any other aspect of life, the more you practice, the better it is. So even now, I find myself doing a lot of like paper trades, mental trades to see how it would have worked. So I will not be taking this with real money, but this would be, in my book, a very good trade setup because you could take this breakdown. If it does happen, your risk is either the recent high or 2 highs ago. So you're either risking here or here, depending on your risk tolerance and how much leeway you want to give it. And your entry would be either on this snap of the low, if you want to be aggressive and early, or you could be a bit more conservative and wait, or you could actually wait for the break of 948. So you have 1 risk point or 2 risk points. You have 1, 2, or 3 potential entries. Obviously, you would use the combo that most interests you. Whatever risk, whatever entry, but this overall model is something that I've been using for a while. And like I said, throughout the day, I like to just kind of mentally trade it, paper trade it to see how it would have gone, just because like the more practice, the better. But this is either that risk, or this entry, or this entry. Use the combo you like the best, but this looks like it's about to be a live one. Looks like we're about to have a live one. Looks like we're about to have a live one. As we're seeing a little bit of weakness here, like I said, looking for the crack of this region, a push to 5,600, and then if things get really froggy, somewhere between 5,565 and 5,500, that would be my terminus zone in my shorter term plays. Here's a look at the options flow. S&P 500 flat, NASDAQ actually kind of bullish, and then the Mag 7 actually kind of bearish. So we're getting... The bears are currently winning the day. Tesla's showing a little bit of life. I'd be interested in this trend line breakdown right here. I'd be interested in this breakdown. Oh, hang on. Wait, what is this? I just got a weird update. What the fuck? Trump and Putin on phone call since 10 a.m. Eastern, call ongoing. Trump and Putin have been on the phone since 10 a.m.? Wait, so how does that make sense with what people were just saying that it wasn't starting as of 10 minutes ago? Okay, according to the White House, they have been chit-chatting since about an hour, for about an hour. Once again, according to the White House, Trump and Putin have been on the phone since 10 a.m. The call is ongoing. Well, with that being said, the market not reacting, not really giving a shit at the moment, I suppose. not really giving a shit at the moment. That's something. All right. Well, I gave you guys the levels. Once again, if you just want to screenshot it, you pretty much know my plan for the day. These are the levels I'm watching. Feel free to screenshot. Feel free to do what you want. Of course, you could always join up with the Discord and ask. Your first month is free. Use that code Goonie. And right now, if you want to trade with someone else's money, we're actually about to get that trade entry, at least the entry I would take right there. I would be in this trade risking this recent high. That's how I would do it. I would have taken this at 57.58, risking 08. And as soon as we take out this low right here at 34, I'd be moving my stop to break even. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. That's exactly how I would take that trade. So anyway, waiting on this Trump-Putin update. If you have questions, comments, concerns, that's what the Discord is for. Your first month is free. And if you want to trade with someone else's money, right now, 30% off, and there's no activation fee. Just use that code Goonie, Goonie, on Take Profit Trader, and we're going. This is getting cracked. It's getting cracked. So had I taken this trade, I'd be very, very close to moving my stop to break even. Right now, my stop would be break even. There you go. You're welcome. If you took that trade, I literally just paid off for you to be in the Discord for the entire year. Like, your stop would be break even. This would be enough profit for you to pay for the entire year. And even if you think it's going to go more, which it very well could, you're risking nothing. So there you go. You're welcome. You're welcome. For everyone who's following along, I would try the Discord, but $60 is too much. I get that you might feel that way, but if you do feel that 60 is too much, probably right now where you're at, trading is not an appropriate thing. Like, there is some cold, hard, brutal truths of you have to have a certain amount of money to get started trading. So if it's at the point that 60 is too much, it might be better off to learn about trading and study, and trade on paper accounts and feel more comfortable with it, of course, but just kind of let your bankroll grow. If anything, in the world of Discord, $60 is actually comically cheap in the world of like good trading Discords. And I've done a lot of research on it. So with that, if $60 is a bit of a stretch, and trust me, I get it. I've been there myself. That's the time where you hone your skills with paper trading. Don't really use the market quite yet, especially for active trading. So don't use real money, use simulated accounts. And then from there, just let your bankroll grow via other aspects of your life. I think a lot of people, we're coming up to this target. A lot of people try, like, you could start wherever. No, you need to have a bit of money, because you don't want to be just learning trading and then have enough for one trade. And then if it goes against you, like, you're like, oh, okay, I guess trading's not for me. Like, it's just, there's certain truths that even the best traders have losing trades. So you have to have an account big enough that your unit sizes still matter to you, but yet you can overcome variance. What do you mean paper accounts? Paper accounts just means not real money. So you have real data, real entries, and real exits, but it's not real money. So if you make money or lose money, it doesn't impact you. It's just a good way to kind of learn more about it. So it's basically trading with no risk and no reward. So it's fake entries, it's fake exits, but it's based on real trading. How long does it take for TPT to create my account? Mine is usually made within 5 or 10 minutes, but maybe because of the current offer, it's so popular right now that maybe their data is a little bit behind. They do have a helpline. I made my accounts last night with no issue. It took a couple minutes, but I know sometimes when there's like a lot of popularity, maybe it's just like a little delayed, but just shoot them an email. Shouldn't be too bad. I haven't had an issue with it. That's, I guess, my major. All right. I mean, we hit the 560 level that I called out. We're almost at that 5,600. Let me double check one thing. Okay, those positions are looking good. Yeah, we're cooking. We're cooking with Crisco now, baby. Tesla almost broke down and then saved itself. So let me redraw this line. I know there's some Tesla people in here, but overall, pretty decent day. A lot of chop. good bearish movement. I am hopeful of additional bearish movement, but it seems like it's going to be hyper dependent on how this call does or doesn't go. So I would highly recommend put on the news channel, go to Twitter, do whatever you think the fastest source is, because it feels like that's going to be the thing that decides, do we legitimately break down or not? If we do break down, I think there's a 35 to 50 point move south, which would be $3.50 to $5 in the SPY. So we might have really good range, but that's a giant if, because for that to happen, we have to have the actual breakdown. So I hope that makes sense. Like I said, you can join the Discord for free. Check out Take Profit Trader. Use that code Goonie to get the discount. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, email me. I will personally respond, media@MatthewKohrs.com. DM me on Twitter, Matt_Kohrs, or DM me on Discord, MMK147. More than happy to personally, answer your questions, help you out, whatever you need. That's what I have for you. I appreciate all the good vibes. I appreciate the good time. I hope you are absolutely murdering this market and making a shitload of money. I will be back tomorrow. We'll be posting an update video tonight, and then we'll be streaming twice tomorrow. The normal morning show, and then the specialty FOMC Jerome Powell show in the afternoon. That's what I have for you. Love you all. Peace.